Good morning, everybody. Today I want to talk about empowerment and what that means in this day and age, and how you can connect with your inner power, and what internal and external sources might be kind of pulling that power away from you, and how you can set those limits and boundaries so that you can be as infinite and really walk in your fullest potential as possible. I chose this first topic because this is something I'm dealing with a lot right now, and that I've been dealing with for the past 5 years. I'm a mom, and most of my life is not even about fulfilling my purpose. It's about fulfilling the needs of my family. And now putting myself out on YouTube and making a platform is intimidating. Walking in the shoes of your higher self, I guess, makes you vulnerable in a way, because not everybody's going to accept you. Not everybody is going to resonate with that. And that's exactly the way that it's supposed to be, because everybody's different, and nobody's supposed to think that we're not all ever going to think that the same thing is cool. We're all going to be in those different groups that we have different resonances and things that we can bond over, but our own differences. So it can be really challenging and scary to come into your power and even allow yourself to embrace what that is. So I really want to go over what external and internal things are maybe holding you back from doing that. Do you ever have those days that you feel like you just can't win? Like there's somebody or something that is just blocking you and preventing you from really fulfilling what you wanted to do that day, or what you want to do with your life in general, like really thwarting all of those efforts. That's natural. We have those external things that come into our life and give us those blockages, and really what they are challenges to overcome. But we don't necessarily see them in that light when they're happening, because they're very frustrating. And it could be in the form of a coworker who just wants to do his or her own thing and is not being a team player. It could be a boss that really just doesn't want to recognize your potential or what accomplishments you have brought to the company. It could be in any sort of form. But recognizing that these things are external, and they only affect you insofar as you want them to. You have the potential to leave your job. You have the potential to make limits that these people, they might be barking at you all day long, but you choose whether to let that actually enter you and affect you more than just a kind of, It's your choice whether they are going to affect your actual sovereignty and your power or not. And setting those limits and making that boundary around yourself, if you envision your aura as this kind of wall of protection, your first line of defense, if you envision that around you, make that first line of defense as thick and as impenetrable as possible. Another scenario is people who just are negative, like 24/7. People who just only harp on the bad things in life and only talk about, oh, woe is me, and maybe the things that are going on in the world around you, but that it's only focusing on the negative. What kind of atmosphere is that bringing to your life? And how can you block that off? Because there's scenarios where, like if it's at work, you can't necessarily get away from these people, but you can really enact a good method of kind of in one ear, out the other, for sure. If you kind of set this boundary, like, okay, well, I know that they're going to come to work and they're going to be talking about nothing good. And kind of already anticipating that and already setting that intention that, okay, well, I'm just not going to let any of that really enter into my energetic body. I'm just going to let it, be what it is and travel on so it won't affect you. Another instance is negative environments. Maybe it's not a certain person. Maybe it's somewhere where it's a negative scene. It's a negative crowd, or you're in an environment where someone's watching the news that's all negative, or just there's an environment of negativity around you. Leave that environment. If it's at work, you can deal with it for a certain amount of time, but then leave it behind. When you leave, shut off from the day. Make sure that you're not taking that negativity and stringing it along with you and carrying it throughout the rest of your day. So that kind of leads me to the second point of the external, which is the environment that you willingly put yourself in. So whether it's subconscious or conscious, if you're bringing all of this negativity home with you and you are kind of going home and then creating this negative environment around yourself, rehashing the day, rehashing things that really frustrated you and just brewing and stewing over it and, just not resetting, not recharging yourself, but really soaking in that negativity maybe that happened throughout the day. That is you assigning them your power. That's you giving away your sovereignty to these people or things that affected you. And most of us don't do that willingly. Most of that is just a human reaction to having intense emotions, as we do as humans, and not necessarily having an outlet for that. So finding a healthy outlet for that is so important, because that's how we are really going to transmute that into something that is powerful and something that brings us joy and happiness, and so that we can recharge and leave that negativity behind. Really connecting with your self-empowerment might also have to deal with asking the tough questions. Are there people in your life that bring you down, that aren't supportive, that maybe act as energy drains, and you leave their company feeling exhausted or feeling just powerless, or just completely disconnected from maybe how you felt before you saw them, or disconnected from your life path? Maybe they are not encouraging of what you want to do, if it's something offbeat or whatever. If they aren't supporting you, if you are around them and you're constantly feeling like, I gotta recharge, I gotta unwind, that was just too much, And these people might have been in your life for years. They might be blood relatives. They might be part of your family. But part of honoring yourself and part of stepping into your power is accepting what you need in your life that is going to bring you up, and what you don't need in your life, what you actually need to put boundaries and limits on in your life, or you will constantly be disconnecting. You want to get to a point in life where you are just on this trajectory that you're unstoppable. You are powerful. You are everything that you need to be in order to fulfill your purpose here. And if you're constantly being interrupted by obstacles of different people, or like I talked about, different environments or whatever, recognizing and understanding and saying no, learning to say no is such a huge part of self-empowerment. That is you stepping into your power. That is you saying, okay, enough is enough, and putting up those walls to really protect yourself and enable yourself to be that warrior that you need to be. Another element of external influences that I am so prone to this, and this is something that it's really actually helped me to understand this about myself and about just the nature of reality. Everything is cyclical. So we're never going to have days that are just stellar days, like every day of the year. We're not going to ever be in this constant mode of, oh, this is awesome. We're constantly going to be kind of cycling through. And a lot of this has to do with the cosmic alignment of the moon and the planets and all of that. And it might sound kind of crazy, but there's actually scientific research that shows that on a full moon, people kind of lose their minds. And I just had a conversation with my good friend the other day about this. She was a teacher, and she would see students went crazy and they would get suspended or expelled, just a heightened effect on the full moon. And it's not like it's just, oh, every day's fine, and then the full moon hits and everyone's crazy. It's a cycle. The new moon comes and maybe everybody's normal or something like that. And then as we cycle up, people start getting a little more nuts. And then on the full moon, people are really out of their mind, and then it goes down. That's just an example, but it really shows the cyclical nature of reality. And especially for women too, who, we have our cycle. If you're in the age, you're going through hormonal changes and cycles every single month. And for me, that has helped. I can recognize if I'm feeling a certain way, I recognize, okay, this is part of the cycle. This is normal. This is natural. And I will do something. If I'm not feeling productive, or if I'm feeling in a certain funk, I will do something to counteract that. I'm not going to try to push myself. It's not always going to be like that. And allow yourself to kind of be where you are and appreciate that and honor that, and find an activity or a way to cope with the day and release and unwind in a way that aligns with how you are cyclically and where you are mentally. So now I want to move on to internal influences of self-empowerment. What are the internal things that you might be holding on to, whether it's conscious or unconscious? What are you holding on to that is holding you back? And what are you unwilling to let go of? Maybe it's something from your past. Maybe it's something you did in your past. Maybe it's something that somebody did to you. Maybe it's a feeling of never being loved. It could be a whole slew of things. But recognizing the things that are really stored within your body and your mind, and what you rehash and perpetuate, that is assigning your sovereignty away to feelings and emotions. And it's preventing you from really walking in that power that you have within you. It's kind of a victim mentality a little bit. When you feel like a victim, you're not going to feel like a warrior. You're not going to be out there speaking your truth and spreading your light and sharing your mission with the world. You're going to be kind of, cowering away physically or mentally or emotionally, and until you really face on these things that are holding you back. Another aspect of internal influence is asking yourself, what am I hiding? What aspect of myself am I hiding? And typically the thing that we are hiding is the thing that we covet the most. So it's kind of like the most important thing about our identity or about ourselves that we don't want people to see because we're so protective of it. And we are so, that's our meat and bones. That's our soul. And we are so afraid of people shaming our soul. We can deal with people shaming layers of ourselves that aren't our real selves. We can deal with people shaming appearance or shaming things that we know deep down don't really matter. But when it comes to our soul and our real identity, we're so reluctant to show that because we're so afraid of how people are going to receive that in general. And that, oh my gosh, our true colors, our meat and bones, our soul, that is our power. That is absolutely the reason why we are here, and what is going to give us the most satisfying feeling of being empowered when we are on our mission and we are really becoming one with our true identity. So by hiding that away and not putting that out there, that's in a way the number one thing that is getting in the way of our empowerment. And that's another reason I chose this video first, because I'm putting it out there and it's a little terrifying, but that's what you have to do to really fuse with your higher self in a way, fuse with your mission of why you are here. And people are going to love it and people are going to hate it, and people will accept you and people won't. And that's, like I said, that's with anything in life. There's always going to be, we're all different. There's always going to be that separation, but you will find by becoming and showing your true colors, you will find your true people and your true kind of soul group in this lifetime. So don't be afraid to put it out there. So how can we better connect with our power and our identity and our purpose for being here? I'll probably say this in every single video because it's so important to me, but my recommendation 100% is 4 things. So you've got grounding, getting outside, getting your bare feet on the ground. And what that does is send the energetic current of the earth up through your feet and actually pulls toxins out of your body, pulls that current down and pushes that current up through the earth, through all of your chakras, kind of clearing out your energetic system. So that's number 1, grounding. Number 2 is connecting and channeling that universal energy. So kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, channeling that down. That's our downward current. We have 2 currents going through our body. We've got one going up and one going down, up and down. And that is what is keeping our chakras clear and balanced. And a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this too, a lot of us are good at one of those channels. Some of us tend to be more earthy people. Some of us tend to be more out there people. Clearly, I'm a very out there person. So I'm way okay with this current. Grounding is the harder thing for me. The earthy world is the harder thing for me. So maybe recognize which is more your strong suit and work on really making sure you get the other spectrum in so you can really keep those circuits clear because they're both 100% necessary. 3 is clearing. I highly recommend getting some sage, some white sage, and regularly clearing away energies in your house, energies around yourself. You can use shungite stone. It's a beautiful black stone. You can use tuning forks. Selenite is a wonderful stone too. Different ways, diffusing essential oils. Different people have different methods of how they prefer to clear a space, but it's really about, I wouldn't say any method is better than another. It's really about what you connect with and what sets that intention of your mind of, okay, everything is clear now. Because a lot of it is the mind-body connection. If your mind thinks that it's clear, it's going to feel clear. So finding a way to clear out yourself, your room, your house, your space, your happy place so that, like I said, you're not bringing that negative energy maybe from work or throughout the day. You're not bringing that home. You're keeping your space clear so you have somewhere to recharge. And lastly is movement. So making sure that you are moving your body regularly. I love yoga. I love even just walking is amazing. Anything that is moving your body is moving energy through your body. So things don't get so stuck and accumulate. Because that is the problem of, and the source of disease is really just stuck energy. And it gets stuck in all sorts of different places. And another really good way to dispel that, along with all the other things I just said, is moving your body. And so for empowerment, another really good way to help you feel empowered, and this is something that has really been working for me, doing something that you don't normally do, something that makes you feel powerful. And that'll be different for everybody because everybody kind of has their baseline of what they usually do. And then the things that maybe it pushes them out of their comfort zone and makes them feel empowered in that way, but that they don't get in enough of. For me, that is actually just working out. I'm a healer. I spend a lot of time in the spiritual realms, and the more writing is very upper chakras. I don't really spend enough time in my lower chakras, and that's something that I'm going to work on too, and practicing what you preach, right? And so when I am feeling not in my power, when I'm just feeling like, and have that kind of victim feeling, I will put on my favorite music and I'll just go and get my heart rate up and on the treadmill or in some sort of workout. Trail running is great. If you can combine that with like being outside, it's really awesome. But that's me. Whatever it is for you, maybe you work out every day. Maybe that's like not your thing at all. Maybe that's, that's your baseline. So finding what pushes you outside of your comfort zone. Maybe it's a social thing. Maybe you don't get out and socialize enough, and finding a local group of some sort, something you can connect with. But maybe that would be the thing that makes you come home and you're like, wow, I did that. I talked to people today. I'm an introvert, so I get it. I put myself out there, and I actually really met some cool people in the process and learned some cool things. So finding something that really pushes you and gives you that power in a healthy way. So now what I want to do is kind of transmute some of this stuck energy about our self-empowerment. And really, self-empowerment lies in a lot of different areas in the body, but the solar plexus governs a lot of that. A lot of times other chakras are related as well, but the solar plexus is really about our identity and our drive that is related to our identity and our empowerment. So today I'm going to be playing in the note of E, because the E note represents the solar plexus, and these are my 432 hertz sound bowls. So let's transmute this. And as I play, I would love for you to kind of think about things that are holding you back in your life, things that you want to release and let go and allow them to leave. I am powerful. I am light. I am powerful. I see through clear eyes. I am powerful. I am I am powerful. I see through clear eyes. I am powerful. I am light. I am powerful. I see through clear eyes. Namaste, everybody. I'll see you next time.